Hello, in the last video we took a look at the top 5 eBay buyer scams, and in this video we're going to take a look at the top 5 eBay seller scams. So these are scams that sellers can pull on buyers on eBay. Right, let's get on with the list. So at number 5 we have the missing information scam. So this is when a seller purposefully doesn't mention some information about the product they're selling. So maybe they sell a DVD without mentioning the region of the DVD. So you might buy it and then not be able to play it. Or they sell a camera, but they don't mention that actually it doesn't come with a lens or a memory card, so it's completely useless unless you buy those extra things. Or they could even list a phone and not mention that it's locked to a certain cellular or phone network, so it might be useless to you. Often in these circumstances, a seller will put something on their listing like sold as seen or no returns accepted. But to be honest, leaving out this kind of important information is actually as bad as leaving misleading information, and usually a buyer will be able to get their money back. So to get around this particular scam, you just need to be very critical as a buyer. Read listings carefully, think about things that might be missing from the listing, and if necessary, ask questions of the seller to make sure you get all the information that you need. So continuing on from missing information, we have misleading information. So here you're looking out for misleading information, strange terms, misleading terms, things like solid gold covered watch, which actually means that it's not solid gold at all, it's gold plated. But one of the worst examples I've seen, and actually you see this quite a lot, and that is sellers listing things as brand new because they know that they can get more for a new item when they know perfectly well that an item is actually used. Another favourite is for sellers to act stupid. So they might write things like, I'm not an expert, but this might be a Fabergé egg, but I don't know, so buy at your own risk. Well, obviously it's not going to be a Fabergé egg for $2. And really, if a seller's doing that, you have to really ask yourself, if there was any chance that the item was worth more money, why would they be selling it at such a low price? You can also find pictures for a listing that actually bear no resemblance to what you're buying. So the key here is just to be really careful and look out for jargon, ask questions from a seller, and most importantly, check a seller's feedback. Make sure that there's not loads of negative feedback saying that the item descriptions are misleading. And generally, it's a good idea to keep in mind the motto, if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. At number 3, we have the postage scam. So you find a brand new iPhone on eBay for £100, but for some reason the postage is £100 also. Well, the total price is still cheaper than a lot of the other prices on eBay, so you think it's worth a shot. It doesn't really matter if you pay for the extra postage or the extra item price. Unfortunately, if anything actually goes wrong with the item that you bought, you'll find that the seller will only refund you for the item price and not the postage cost. So you've lost out that £100 in postage, for example. Generally, I only buy items with free delivery or reasonably priced postage costs. Don't go for the expensive postage costs because you could lose a lot of money. At number 2, we have hidden costs. So this is a little bit like number 5 in the list. This is where you buy an item, but you don't actually realise that you need to spend a lot more money for the item to actually be usable. So for example, you need a camera lens for a camera. But this can also apply to things like international shipping. So you might find a really cheap item in another country like America or in China, but there are hidden costs associated with ordering from other countries. You sometimes have to pay import duty and VAT. And believe it or not, this isn't actually the seller's responsibility at all. It's entirely your responsibility as a buyer. Another thing to take into consideration when buying things internationally is that they can take weeks and weeks to arrive. Now, often when you buy things from an international seller on eBay, it will say from China, from Japan, or whatever listed next to the item. Sometimes it doesn't, and the listing tries to give you the impression that the item is coming from your own country. So again, it's a good idea to check the seller feedback and see whether or not people are consistently saying that an item has taken weeks to arrive and it's actually come from another country. The photograph scam. This really is a scam. The other items in the list are probably just sellers being a bit naughty. This is really a scam, in my opinion. So this is where you go on a listing and there's a picture of the item and you think that's the item I want and the price is great. You buy the item, it comes to you, and what you actually receive is a picture of the item you wanted to buy. And then on closer inspection, when you go back to the listing, you find deep in the sort of description, please note you're actually buying a picture of the item, not the actual item. And you'll have paid a lot of money for this crap picture of an item. So this is a scam. So again, don't be fooled by prices that seem too good to be true, and read item descriptions very, very carefully. And finally, if in doubt, just ask the seller a question. Thanks for watching this video. I hope it's helped you spot and avoid popular eBay seller scams. Do subscribe if you like these kind of videos, because there's plenty more on the way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.